talked the other day, and you told me that we shared a story about Santa Monica and Venice Beach, and you said, well, that's how my career began somehow, and what you're doing today. Could you briefly tell that how did all of this get started? You got an MD as a background, and now you're doing something amazing.
Well, first of all, I was a surgeon, got into a car accident, and that destroyed my surgical career. Ended up getting physiotherapy. That didn't work. The guy sent me to an acupuncturist, which I didn't believe in, but it worked. So I said, okay, I'm going to study acupuncture. If I can't cut, at least I can stick needles into people. It looked like a good alternative. And soon enough, because I'm very skeptical, I was always searching for, and the reputation I was building up was a problem solver. So people came from everywhere, and I started studying more and more and more. I was 6 years in practice and made a lot of money. I had the biggest practice in Holland, the biggest practice in the Caribbean. And all of a sudden there was this vision I had to go to California, but there was no reason for it. And I kind of postponed it until I was so tired of working with people. At some point I sold my practice and I came to California knowing no one. The only thing I had was a bag full of money. I just got married and I was here in California. And then I said, okay, how do I begin in a place where you know nobody? And then one day I was working the promenade in Santa Monica, where you have all these artists doing whatever, dancing, flipping, whatever. And I took a table and I put a banner behind me, and the banner was, do you want to know your biological age? And I had some testing device, and people were lining up for that. And that's how I started, just testing people to show them how toxic the body was. And then there would be, let's say your normal range would be from 0 to 100. Most people are up in the 80s and 90s, especially in California. So people were lining up for detoxing. And then one day I decided to create a series of herbal and homeopathic remedies for detoxification. And this is 1988. It's still sold today. We sold millions and millions of those remedies. It was the first detox series, actually. And then doctors started asking me to teach, something I never thought about. And that's how I got into teaching to doctors. And I started teaching all over America. Then I got invited to Europe. And then all of a sudden, I have a teaching career, which was not my goal or whatever.
How much do you actually use, the term hypnosis in your daily life, in your work, or maybe even the techniques or the philosophy behind how to help people in, the most easy way through the unconscious?
Okay, I've done many things, from acupuncture, homeopathy, herbs, nutrition, you just name it. Hypnosis for me is the thing. Okay, it's if I look back how hard I worked without hypnosis and the miracles I get with hypnosis. We even developed our own completely new way of doing hypnosis that is not the old way. So if you look now at old hypnosis, you have the long inductions and you work the person and session after session. Then things start to shift. You got the past life regression, age regression, you get changing beliefs, all that kind of stuff. So where we're moving with, and right now, is some people call this spiritual hypnosis, which I didn't want to, during the panel, I didn't even want to hit this guy's nuts, but we don't do spiritual hypnosis. What we do is result-oriented hypnosis. How you get there, nobody gives a shit, okay? And nothing to do with spiritual, but he's trying to put himself in a box, putting other people in a box. We're going for results, and we won't want fast results, we want long-lasting results, and we want people to be in a kind of a perpetuum mobile, so they can continue producing the results for themselves, not depending on a hypnotist. So we kind of create a kind of machine in the brain. And so hypnosis is my life, basically. Everything I do is hypnosis, basically. I throw everything else in there. So, for example, we talk about the power of projection. I can influence you with my mind, but if I put you on a trance, it's 100 times easier. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can make changes happen in seconds when someone is, let's say, in the theta brainwaves. I don't have to say something. I need to see it. I project it into your brain, and the shift is immediately. That's where we're going now with hypnosis. My wife and I, we hypnotize each other practically a couple of times a week, and sometimes we're fanatic every night. And everything we encounter in life, whatever obstacle, whatever doubt, fear, problem, challenge, we go in trance and solve it there and come back in power. So we're growing like mushrooms. It's like we cannot be stopped anymore.
It's addictive, isn't it?
It's very addictive. Yeah. And then we have developed this, what we call the right brain hypnosis, where you connect to the infinite information there. So if, for example, we need to treat our daughter, she put me in trance, and I go and I project there and we treat her, we get immediate results, even though she is like 4,000 miles away. It doesn't really matter. So we've developed that we use this tool as the most important tool in our lives. And even though I still teach other stuff, you know, like quick emotional fixes for people, we do weight loss, also you just kind of put some stuff in the brain and change things like that. We are much more into teaching people, you know, what are the lessons, what is really important for you in your life right now. Are you on your path? Are you doing what you should be doing? What are your blind spots? And from there you can go endless variations. People don't understand that hypnosis is just a way to access resources, number one. To, when you go into the right brain, you are outside of time and space. So you can remote view the future, you can remote view the past, and on and on and on. You can astral travel, you can future travel, you can do stuff that's impossible. So we're exploring what is possible. What can we do? What else? What are the barriers that we can break again? Where can we take the next level? And just for example, when I do fitness, let's take push-ups. I do push-ups, okay, but then I do, let's say, 40. But if I go in trance and connect to my power, I do 70. As easy. Actually, the 40 is harder than the 70 when you're in that energy, in that, when you put yourself in that trance, everything becomes easier. Now, the trick where we want to go is actually to live life in trance. So to actually be always in hypnosis, where you're always connected to your power. That's what we're working on right now, and it will take some training until we get the tricks, but we're going to get there.
And you said something very interesting from your own experience with clients, that if we change the value of what they think they're labeled with, we can easily have like things like chemotherapy accepted as vitamins.
Absolutely.
And again, using simple, basic hypnotherapy. Have the synapses create new connections. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, what has surprised me and caught me off guard was the following. I used to be a believer that beliefs are important. So if you give someone chemotherapy and they're told, and this is the hypnotic trance you put them in, you're gonna lose your hair, you're gonna feel bad, but this is hypnosis right there. People don't know, you're hypnotized. Now, you know this, so this seems now to become scientific fact. We hypnotize enough people for them to believe this to be true. Now, so this is true. You know it. So I tell you now, every time you get this chemotherapy, you just tell yourself this is vitamins, this is good for you, see your hair grow. What happens, even though that part of you doesn't believe that, it's not true, but the subconscious mind reacts to that as another reality. And if you keep doing it, you actually are putting that over the other stuff. And they've done a lot of research with placebo effect. That's interesting. So we don't need the pill, we just need the suggestion. The other thing that's interesting, if I give you Valium and I tell you this is something good for you, it's a pep, you're gonna feel a lot of energy. You're gonna feel wonderful. You take the Valium, you feel wonderful. 70% of the people feel wonderful. Now reverse this. I give you something that's like a pep, amphetamine, and I tell it's going to calm you down. 70% is going to be calmed down. So the mind power, just one suggestion, is much more powerful than the chemical stuff. And so what happens when the diagnosis is made, the doctors create a prison. And nowadays it's even worse, because now you Google your disease, and now your prison becomes tougher and tougher. Then you get a medicine, you Google the side effects, and literally you're fucked. That's it. Twice, okay? So we have to break those hypnotic trances. That's what's very important thing for us to understand. Right now I'm working on a new program, and that's actually sleep hypnosis. So basically, people are lazy. Okay, so I developed first passive hypnosis, which means that you listen to audio tape when you go to sleep, just half an hour, and things change. You lose weight, even not doing anything. Now we're gonna make audio programs 7 to 8 hours during the sleep. There's a few tricks you need to know about the sleep patterns. So now you're going to sleep in a hypnotic trance. You're going to wake up feeling much better, much happier, much younger, rejuvenated. Your body is going to react in ways you cannot even imagine. So we're going to use the time of sleep actually do therapy. And we can do anything. We can learn languages. I want to develop one time a program for the Chinese to learn English, and it's easy. Okay, we can learn languages, we can work on our body, we can heal our bodies, we can be spiritual, we can get more self-confidence. You just name it. We can stop smoking, lose weight, everything during your sleep. So during the sleep, I see it as a time we're not using effectively. And there are ways we can do it. Listen to an audio program before you go to sleep, set your intention before you go to sleep, and in the future we can have the sleep program. So basically we're going to take hypnosis again to another level. And it's easy, and it's something that, I wonder, why didn't we do this before? You can do it with children. Oh yes, something interesting for your viewers is that we underestimate children. In other words, we talk child language, okay? So if it's a baby, we do all gibberish kind of stuff, which is annoying for the baby anyway. They think, who is this retarded person? Okay, but on another level, you can call it spiritual level, soul level, whatever, we can clearly understand and communicate with a child. So if you hypnotize a child, I just tell a story. That's all I need to do. I don't have to do inductions and stuff. They love stories, and you tell healing stories. But if you give a child information, starting with 2-3 years old, just as I'm talking to you now, explaining things to them, you will have geniuses. Children don't have to go through that left brain learning. You just put it in there, because this will go directly in the subconscious mind. Children are much more open, they filter less. That just becomes part of their knowledge. And if we give them the right self-image, the right confidence, young on, they're going to become monsters. They're going to be just incredible, yes. It's so simple. Just imagine a nurse bringing your medicine to you and says to you, this is such a healing stuff for you. When you take this, you're going to feel so much better. When you wake up tomorrow, after you've taken this, the light will shine, you'll be ready. Just that.
Yeah.
Why do we do double-blind studies? Because if I think as the scientist, this might be good for you, I already influence you. Non-verbally, I already hypnotize you. My smile, the way I look at you, already hypnotize you. Does it make sense? Yeah. If we teach nurses, we teach doctors that, people will heal much faster. People will spend much less time in the hospital. The most astounding thing that, as a doctor, that I got to learn is this. You take a knife, you anesthetize the person, you cut them open, either it's for the heart, or for the knee, or for the hip, but you don't do anything. Just cut open the skin, sew it back, wake them up, 70% of them will be better. Because they had the hypnotic suggestion that they had surgery. Now there's this big thing in England and called the virtual gastric band and stuff like that, which is the hypnotic way of giving a person a suggestion that you had surgery. That's the power of hypnosis. That's the power of suggestion. And if we would teach that, they talk about bedside manners, we should teach people conversational hypnosis. That's what we should teach children. Some of it you can maybe label NLP. Label doesn't matter to me. I prefer to call it conversational hypnosis. You can make any person on this planet feel better by talking to them. Any person, no matter how depressed they are. You can bring the light out of the darkness and make it shine just by talking to them. And that power, you're talking with doctors, nurses, that's a power that's given to everyone and we don't use it. And when you become a hypnotist, or you learn the base of hypnotist, NLP, all those kind of things, you are giving back that power to make people shine.
You saw my demonstration with the fast inductions and stuff like that. Do you think the shift that's happening right now is that we can make this more accessible, more direct, more effect? You said it in the beginning, we need to make it even more simple.
Yeah.
Go directly at it. Yes. Is that your hopes also?
Now, if you look at meditation, have you heard of something called mindfulness? It's just another jacket. And all of a sudden, CEOs are doing mindfulness. It's all over the world. So sometimes we need to change the label. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think hypnosis has a history where there's a part of that history we can never shake. We cannot shake that. We cannot change it. And we can educate people over and over. But you know that no matter how much you educate people, and you will reach a lot of people, but there'll be enough other people still will look at hypnosis on certain things. So the moment you call it something else, I never tell people I do hypnosis. People come to me and they say, I cannot go in hypnosis. That's wonderful. I don't do hypnosis. The only thing I do is, for you to relax, and when you relax, you open your mind, and your filter is different. We do that. I don't even have to use the word hypnosis. So we call it brain technology. We call it whatever we have to call it. We should not be married to the word hypnosis. This is number one step that I really want to put out there. I'm not walking around saying hypnotist because I don't care. What I do is I get results. And my clients don't care how I get results. And I pre-frame them. I say I'm going to do strange things. I might scream at you, yell at you, whatever. But I get results. You're paying me to get results. That's it. So one way is to camouflage it. And the other way is to keep educating people over and over and over. I mix a lot of stage hypnosis in my stuff, but I can name it anything I want. So last time I did it, I call it parallel reality jumping. I'm gonna do now a exercise with you where we're gonna jump in another parallel reality. And what I did, and it was very fast, because I like to impress people with fast stuff. So what I do is I put your hands together, and now you're gonna jump into another parallel reality where you're in a prison, and they glue your hands together. And so when they come from 1 to 3, you are in this prison, and when you come back, you will stay in this prison. 1, 2, 3, come back. 2 minutes. 60% of people could not. I didn't call it hypnosis, And then people go like, "What happened?"
And I bet if you called it hypnosis, less people would actually.
Exactly.
They're pre-scared of it.
Yeah. Another time, I call it using your imagination, and I tell them, I'm going to show you the power of imagination, how you can fix your ribs if they're broken or your fractures, whatever. And I said, just imagine you're in kindergarten and you're going to do a little exercise with the teacher. I'm the teacher, and we're going to put your hands into glue. I'm going to count 1 to 3. You're going to clap your hands together, and it's going to be sticky together. It took 2 minutes. 60% is glued together. I mean, that's people that have to understand that we are suggestible. And then basically that's it. So another guy came up with the idea suggestology, which is great. I used to call myself placebo master.
And if people get, hopefully people viewing this are getting inspired somehow. Maybe they got some new ideas of how to live their life or get new inspiration or whatever. If they want to look you up, where can they find you on the internet?
Okay, so our website will go up in a week, so that will be okay. We have I used to have my own name, now it's called Crystalline, and it's actually simple, CHRIST, all in. Actually, if you look at Christ, all in, Crystalline.
Okay.
So that's, and basically it's not religious kind of stuff, but I believe in what we call the Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness for me is a consciousness of unconditional love. That's why we call it crystalline. And meaning each one of us already got that power inside of us. And we don't say Christ all in, we say crystalline. People don't even know what we're talking about. But the most important thing is that through internet now, we have the power to give people a lot of free goodies, so to speak. And because we know if we give away something that's good, people love it, they'll come back for more. They're willing to pay because now they know what we can do. The most important advice I want to give to all of the viewers is that hypnosis is easy. Self-hypnosis is the simplest thing in the world to do. It is just the power of giving yourself suggestion, but also to use the special time before you go to sleep and before you wake up to imprint in your mind what you want. Then you are hypnotized the whole night. That's basically the whole idea. It's that easy. And then those intentions, so imprints, start becoming reality. All of a sudden, you start to feel powerful, you start to feel successful. And there's one secret to hypnosis that most people don't realize is that it's magnetic. So if I change something inside of your belief system, you're wirelessly sending out a new information to the world, and because you're going to attract new stuff into your life, and all of a sudden you get into what we call the synchronicity of things, and it's magical. So we actually are going to do a training where we're going to teach people to become magicians instead of hypnotists and use their own power of suggestion non-verbally and verbally. And that, I believe, is going to be like a next level we can achieve, where I can influence you from distance. I can hypnotize you even without you knowing it. If I have a sales to do, I can already hypnotize the person and close the sale. I've done this with salespeople. 10 times easier. Increase the sales production. Double, triple. It's all hypnosis, just whatever you want to label it.